Okay, so in this 5-part series, this communication that I'm going to ask him with my 5-part series, you're going to run into some things. You're going to ask your horse to do something with an obstacle or trailer loading, and it's not going to go perfect. So here's what I want to show you what to do. We've established the 5 questions with our horses, series of 5 questions. You know they know the answers. You can trigger body responses of relaxation, so you're good. Now it's time to go and ask them questions in different scenarios, whether it's creek crossing, trailer loading, whatever. And this, what we do here is going to transfer to their back, and you can do the same thing on their back. But what I'll show you, I've never asked this horse to do this. I'm going to lay 2 barrels together, and I'm going to ask him to jump over them. With the 5-part series, questions that I ask in 5-part series, I'm going to ask him to jump the barrels, and it's something that I really don't care if he does it, but I'm hoping that I can show you what to do if he doesn't. In other words, I'm not going to drill on him. I'm going to expose him to something. If there's any resistance or misunderstanding, I'm going to help him through that. And I'll show you how to do that. So what we're going to do is go get these barrels. And I'll just set up this little obstacle, we'll call it. And it's something you can do to ask your horses different questions so that you prepare them for later, for questions that you know will arise. You may have a creek crossing that you got to go over, and maybe they're real good at doing it with the questions on the ground. You can step down out of the saddle and ask them on the ground. So a lot of people will focus on the obstacle. What I want to do is focus on our communication, our relationship. Think about this. If I have a deep understanding of this horse as an individual, based on 5-part series, asking him questions, I transfer that to their back and ask the same way, I'm just in a different position. So I'm going to ask this horse to do this, jump this barrel. I've never asked him before, and this is honest. You're getting to see it right here, right now. To prove this 5-part series works in any situation, I'm going to ask him to jump those barrels and show you what to do if he doesn't. In other words, I'm not focusing on those barrels. I'm going to ask him questions I know he knows the answers to. The barrels just happen to get in the way. So from right here, I want to ask him to back up. Yeah, he knows that question. I'm going to ask him to move to the left. So that was a question from him. Should I stop and turn, or should I keep going? So I just simply, like I was on his back, I would just simply give a little leg pressure. No, keep going. So now we're going to get closer to this barrel. I'll let him cruise by the barrel. If he expressed interest in it and wanted to sniff it, not a problem, I'd let him. I'm not going to really focus too much on the barrel. I'm asking my horse questions. I never want my horses to fear the obstacle in which we are using to ask questions in our relationship. So now I'm going to change direction because I know he knows the answers to this. Ask him to go the other direction. So he got to right eye, see that obstacle. He got to left eye, see that obstacle. So if your horse was going to show you any signs of uncertainty or concern, allow him to look at it with both eyes, check it all out. So now I'm going to close the gap on this from the barrel to myself. I'm going to let him cruise through between me and the barrel. Now I'm going to get him a little momentum so he could clear the barrel. So we go into a trot. So there's a little hesitation there. The question's still being asked. He's uncertain. Good boy. We'll just come back around. So the pressure went away, and we'll ask him to come and do exactly what we were doing when he was in a mindset of relaxation. We'll go by the barrels, let him look at them, change direction. So I started soft with that question of jumping the barrel. I set him up for the best success of getting a little momentum to go and jump it. But I didn't just hammer on the pressure to do it. I started soft and increased the intensity of the question. He hesitated. I applied a little more pressure. If it would have gotten any more, restricted than it did, we could move away from the whole obstacle, get away. Come out here, ask some questions that I know he knows the answers to. Let me push this hip, create a little draw, ground tie, rub him to a stop, and I would trigger a body response of relaxation. So I'm still asking 5-part series, I'm still feeling the horse, proper pressure at a proper time for a proper response. I've inserted an obstacle that I had never done before, but the questions stay the same. Start soft as you want to finish. Increase the intensity of the pressure to get the desired response in whatever it is you're wanting to do. I want to put these back, and we'll ask again. Now, on this ground tie, one of the ways to disengage from the ground tie is to come off the hind quarter. And then you can go where you want, and your horse isn't going to create draw to you. In this instance, I was at enough distance, and I could break that energy and peel away. But if your horse is trying to follow you, be mindful you're probably drawing him to you. So you have to disengage off the hind quarter. Ask him to stand on the ground tie. Okay, so we're going to do that again. We're going to ask, same way, start soft, increase the intensity of the pressure or the question, ask him for a backup, relax when he does, wait a few seconds. Now ask him to go to my left, his right. So he's distracted by something else, that's fine. I've pointed, and you saw earlier just pointing work. I'll step out and block the door. I'll kiss. If he hadn't have moved on a kiss, I could start motivating with this tail, and then start soft with the tail and increase the intensity of the pressure on the tail. So if we start real heavy, real hard, we have no place to go from there. We start as soft as possible, increase the intensity of the question to get the desired response. So I'm going to go ahead and ask him to trot again. We'll go over the barrel. Okay, so in that instance, create some draw, and I'll explain what happened. Put about as high a pressure as I wanted to put on him to jump over. He made an attempt, took a way out, so I'm going to ask him questions away from the barrels. And this would be kind of stemming from problem solving. If you run into an issue, don't focus on the barrels and what he couldn't do. Let's focus on what he can do. So I'm going to ask him to back up, increase the intensity as needed, relax. We're going to ask him to move into a direction. I'll ask him to move to my left, his right. And what we'll do is trigger body responses of relaxation. With this particular horse, he likes to move, so we'll let him move and cruise. Then I'll ask him to go the other direction. If I push the hip and call him in, trigger a body response of relaxation. Big deep breath. We'll see if that works. We'll see how tense he is. Ask him to come in, relax. Hang out with him a few seconds. And then we'll go back to that barrel again. What I want to do is allow him to understand I care about his well-being. I want him to be in a calm, quiet thinking mindset. I want his body to be comfortable. And we don't care if he does that today. He already did it once. We want him to be comfortable doing it. So we'll not drill it and drill it and drill it to the point where he's resenting it and it's not a good session, and we've got to backtrack and come over here and get him desiring to even want to be with us. He wants to be with us. Ground tie proves it. He doesn't want to run away. That's good. In each and every session, you want to start as you'd like to finish. So it's the same thing with starting with this pressure. I want to start with as much pressure as I'd like to finish. I want to start the session with my horse the way I'd want to finish. So I'm going to ask him to go to my right. So I'll point, step out, block that door, kiss, motivate. And we start soft with that motivation, that tail. So I'll bring him back over to the barrels. Good boy. Let him cruise by them. And we'll go from this way, from this angle. I'm going to let him cruise back by him one more time. There you go. I'll close the gap, ask him to step it up. So we went around them. All right, good job. We'll go ahead. That's fine. We're not going to worry. Like I said, we're asking him questions, and we're letting those barrels get in the way. So he bumped on them. He moved them. Good. That's fine. We'll ask him these questions and let that stuff get in the way. We'll step on the gas a little bit. Show him that he can do it a little bit quicker. He wants to do it. Go ahead, buddy. You got the right idea. Come back around this way, block this door. Let him cruise through there. He's figuring it out. So I'm going to push this hip, create some draw, ground tie, rub him to a stop. So we get a tension in the mouth release. Got a big deep breath. I'm going to fix his little obstacle. And I stepped up some pressure that time to show him, I'm going to ask you intently. We're going to start soft. We're going to increase the intensity of the question to get the desired results. We're going to ask him some questions that we know he knows the answers to. We'll ask him to back up. To the right. We'll let him cruise for a second, not worry too much about jumping over those barrels. Because like I said in the beginning of the video, I've never asked him this before. But this is exactly how I would do it with your horse. And this is how you should do it with your horse. You ask him, keep him comfortable, quiet. Now we'll ask him, increase the intensity of the question. Ask him to do it again. Good boy, sunshine. Cruise around, let him just cruise by it. Change direction. Go this direction. We're asking him questions that we know he knows the answers to, and the obstacle just gets in the way. We'll ask him to jump it from this direction. He went around it. Don't forget to laugh. Sometimes they do funny stuff. We'll ask him to jump it this time. And he made a little attempt. Try it again. Ask him to trot. And that was an attempt. So we're good to the left, not so good to the right. Let's ask him to go the other direction. Let him cruise by it. Go into a trot. Good boy, Sunshine. Okay, so it's pretty cool that he'll go, good boy, ground tie, rub to a stop, let him relax. Pretty cool that he'll go to my left and jump it, but going the other way, not yet. It's not a day that he has to do that. I don't care. He did great. We're not even going to do any more today on that. Tomorrow we come out, we'll ask him again. He gets better at one way, good, he's kind of getting it. We'll ask him to go the other way, and it will happen. So today's a concept day, asking him questions that we know he knows the answers to and letting the obstacle get in the way. We're not going to focus too much energy on him doing that perfectly. This is a transformation. We're going to invest the time that it takes. What I do care about is his mindset, his body, presenting what I expect from him, watching feedback, maintaining this relationship, maintaining this feedback loop, what he needs, how I can get better at helping him understand what I need. You guys have any questions? Well, what we're going to do now is probably relax the mind more, relax the body, and then that would end the session. So you start a session the way you want to end it. You start grooming, relaxing, you do what you want to do within your session, maintaining that baseline of calm, quiet, thinking horse. I don't want him reacting chaotically, so the 5-part series allows me to see what is needed in the relationship, allows me to watch his body, allows me to ask questions, watch his feedback, listen to him breathe, see if he wants to stay or go. You know, I've obviously ground tied him. He could get away. So all of these things will reveal themselves, and how we're going to address them are based on his feedback. So I'm very proud that he did do that. I've never asked him to do that before, but those are some of the things you're going to come into whenever you're asking your horses with the 5-part series, establishing this communication. If they get bored, you got to throw in something more fun. Now, that's a pretty high jump for a little horse like this. It could be intimidating. So you could ask him to jump over the log's height. You know, you can incrementally step up that. But focus on the questions. Proper pressure, proper time, proper response. That's feeling that horse as an individual, and that's going to help you overcome things as you continue to go forward in those things. One of the neat things about it is you can always back down, get your horse comfortable, calm, and quiet, 5-part series, and then throw in that obstacle again or that scenario. The key element to this problem solving and doing these things is to not focus on the stimulus. Focus on your communication with your horse. Doesn't matter if a deer, elk, real estate sign, barrels, nothing. What does matter is this connection and communication you have with your horse. Thank you, and if you have any questions, ask on the app or in our online group. Thank you.